Hey, what's going on? I'm here. Little got lost for a second there. It happens as you get older. You get lost. Let me get back in here so I can get a little closer. All right, here we go. Yeah, that's about it, right? Yep. So, what to talk about today? Huh? Hold on a minute, Lucy. There. No. Hold on. She can't find a cookie. What happened? Your nose not working? You can't find a cookie. You can't find the cookie. There it is. Okay. All right. Good girl. She's a little under the weather. Ow, a little under the weather right now, and I just knocked myself out with my microphone. Okay. Now I got to get back into position again, which is, not easy for an old guy. All right. So here we are. Uh, okay. That's better. All right. Now, Trump is doing a. I'm got back to Donald Trump today because he's giving a speech tonight. In which point he's supposed going to talk about the 2020 election again. That's what he supposedly won. Now, let's say, for the sake of argument, okay, he won. So this is essentially his third term, which makes this term unconstitutional, right? I think this dumb bastard should just keep his mouth shut instead of trying to prove the rest of the world wrong because they're going to end up burying him. And I mean that. He's getting to a point where he's getting the wrong people pissed off. The agency's designed to protect him. The agency's designed to do as he says. And they're really getting upset with this clown. Which I perfectly understand that because he's a clown. And that's just the way it is, I don't know. I honestly don't know if he's well or if he's just stupid. Unwell, I should say, or just stupid. I think it's a little bit of both, unwell and stupid. But anyhow, this should be. I don't watch his speeches because he puts me to sleep with his stupidity. And I want to punch the screen, and I can't do that because it gets expensive, when you hit TV screens and you ruin all the little pixels and stuff inside there, the little LEDs inside there. Has a tendency to really screw things up. So anyhow, he'll be doing that speech tonight. He's going to do some other stuff. He's probably going to threaten martial law or something like that, or he's going to say he's going to go apply for martial law or something. I don't know what he's going to do. And honestly, I don't care anymore. When I say that, I don't care what he does because I think I'm not capable of doing anything to him anymore. I can't get to him. I'd be a danger if I was 35 years old and in the United States. I'd be a suspect. And I'm 80 years old and I don't live in the United States anymore. So there's not much I can do to him. I think that's probably one of the reasons he leaves me alone. But Hexus will get pissed at me because he's just no other way to describe that man. Egotistically, mentally, he's an egotist, and he's egotistically out of control, and he's mentally just fucked. So I had a great idea. You know how Trump's putting up his face everywhere so everybody can see it, and go, it's the president. Look, the fat moron. You can't show his red blotched face in a gold statue, though, or something like that. I think that somebody ought to produce a toilet paper with his face on it so you can wipe your ass with his face every day. I think that'd be, it's probably been done. I just haven't seen it anywhere for sale. It's probably infected. That's the problem. His face will give you an infection. Oh, man. I got a list of stuff here. I probably did this all the other day. EJ Carroll got paid her money. Well, they didn't pose they posed it for like 24 hours. The paused it rather. The traffic stops, and now they're supposed to be back again. Naval blockade, and it doesn't appear. I don't know whether I discussed this the other day or not. It doesn't appear that there are any good options left for either side in the Iranian war, which, according to Trump, isn't a war. But they have to do something there. They're running out of they're running out of munitions. I don't know how that's humanly possible. That they dump that much and it's putting a drain on the munitions. We could never go to war if that was our backup supply of munitions. We would get destroyed in any major conflict if that's all we've got. And you can see NATO sitting there going, man, we got to find another supplier. And I'd buy Kalashnikovs because the rifle is a 7.62 millimeter round, which is supposedly the NATO round now. I'm not sure if it still is, but the M4 carries the 7.62 millimeter shell. It's also a Lupa round, which is snipers use. And it's the AK is the most dependable weapon in the world. I mean, you could throw this in the lake, drag it through the mud, pick it up, and it'll fire. It's just one of those very simple to repair, simple to make weapons. And Russia's used it for years. They have other rifles. They've made high quality sniper rifles and everything else. But a rifle is sort of a secondary thought now because of all the technology that's out there, and instead of giving you a rifle like the M14 was a rifle with a peep sight on it, now they're giving you a rifle with all this other gear on it, and you can't possibly miss, but they miss. Why do they miss? Well, you don't understand fighting. When somebody's shooting at you, you're not, unless you're a trained sniper and you're in hiding and you can, but even when a sniper's being shot at, he runs and hides. That's human nature, You don't sit there and let them shoot you. That's just dumb shit. Hey, you. No. Okay. So I don't know what to tell you about that. But I don't understand how we can be running out of munitions and still be and selling missiles to everybody and all this other stuff, but we don't have any for our own defense or offense or our men. I think sending men into combat is a really, really bad idea. Okay. People really didn't object to the war in Vietnam when they didn't have, you know what I mean? Now you tell them you go to put ground troops on, and you're going to tell them National Guard units or some other unit is going to end up in combat in Iran for the next 10 years because it's never going to end. You have some of the tribes in those parts of the world that have been fighting for 1,000 years. They stop every once in a while when they have a common enemy. Right now, they got a common enemy, us. And every time we do something stupid, we unite these warring or disagreeing tribes into one solid unit. And that's something we cannot deal with because we don't know how many there are and where they're located. There's no intelligence on these nomadic tribes and whatnot. And yes, they still exist in the deserts of Arabia. Uh, I'm at a loss for you want to fight a technological war in a sand dune. That's not really technology doesn't handle sand very well. Or we're going to use drones. Well, basically, any jamming device can bring down a drone. All right, depending on the drone's ability. If it's being flown from like the United States, like some of the Raptors are and stuff like that, by remote control, they can be stopped. I don't know how effective destroying them is by sometimes very common uh, blockers, transmission blocking equipment. They don't like to tell you that. That's why Raptors fly at a height that's very difficult to ascertain, and the missiles are radar and laser guided and they're very very accurate. The bombs that they drop, so that's a good thing, most of the time, except when you hit a school and kill 150 kids. That's just you know probably it was done on purpose, I would say, because you've got wackos out there. Like a lot of them are on ice. They go around and they shoot people just for the hell of it. Ain't that depressing? Okay, World Cup Sunday. That was really a good game yesterday. I watched England and Argentina, and I'm part English, but I like Messier, so I was kind of like rooting just for a good game, and I got a good game. And the thing about that I liked, and I like about soccer, is they don't play up the assists that much. And Messier put a perfect pass across the front of the net for his teammate to head into the net, to jump up and head it into the net. And that was beautiful. It was, I don't know whether he was doing everything on purpose or not, but if everybody was supposed to be those positions or not, but it would worked out fine. And to me, that was a great shot. And Messier, deserves a lot of credit for that. He put it right where it had to be for his teammate to score the goal, which turned out to be the winning goal. So I think he's unselfish a lot more than, say, somebody like Ronaldo was at his peak. Ronaldo was a scoring machine. And Messier, they play to him. But if it's not there, he's going to give it to somebody else. He's not going to take a bad shot unless he absolutely has no choice in the matter. His only fault is he's not good at penalty kicks or free kicks. He's great from corner kicks for passing, but he's horrible at free kicks and penalty shots. He's one of those guys that kicks it 12 feet over the top of the net. How the hell do you do that? They say the only way you can do that is if you bend your knee. And to bend your knee at that angle would be painful, I would think. I don't know. I can't bend my knees at all anymore, so I don't really know. So, anyhow, I'll be watching that Sunday, so I'm not going to be here Sunday. But today's only, Thursday, right? We still got 2 more days this week. And there'll be supposedly a lot to talk about tomorrow when Trump gets done with his speech tonight, But what we need to talk about in the next few days or so is what we're going to do with all the people that AI is going to put out of work. I talk about them, taking over the machinery and becoming. There's a lot of damage they're going to do before that, and we have to start talking about that. All right. So listen. Anyhow, go find the subscribe button, whack it I mean, hit it with a hammer, get it going, baby. I got 28 people following me. I need 280 people following me. You know what I mean? I'm just not there yet. And I'm looking forward to, I'm going to start trying to make money out of this, but I'm not real good at that because I don't like to have to do stuff. You know what I mean? I don't want a job. I want to have fun. Okay, guys. You guys have a great one. I will see you in the mañana.